Welcome to the Sales Lab. How much technical expertise does the sales rep specifically need to have compared to this other group of tech support that you mentioned earlier?
Right, absolutely. So we don't hire people based on just their technical knowledge or their technical aptitude. Okay, so we're not out just looking for engineers to hire because, frankly, most engineers are not great salespeople. They're numbers driven. They're very task focused. I worked with them for a long time. I know. So what we do is, my rule of thumb is, my reps need to know more about everything we sell than the architects do. So we're going to try to get that architect to write their prescription for our material, in essence, with the specification. They need to know more about that. Architects are creative people, but an architect, even they'll tell you, there are some real sub-level experts among the architects, but they're really a jack of all trades. They're designing a building. They've got to figure out the HVAC system, the security layout, the doors, the door handles, the how the toilets work, all this. We're one part of that. We sell, the covering on the outside of the building and some interior materials as well. But we have to know more about that product than they do. We have to know more about brick than an architect does. We have to know more about stone. And I really drive that home with my team. So they don't have to be an engineer. We have those on staff for when things get really detailed, and we pull those guys in and as needed with certain products. But we sell everything from your basic brick that have been installed for 10,000 years to a fully engineered wall system that has very precise attachment points, very, very tight tolerances and specifications. And we have to be able to handle all that.
Now, can I ask you what are some of the core value propositions that you're bringing to the table? Why does somebody say, "Yep, I got to go with Acme and nobody else"?
Well, we're there, like most technical sales operations, we're there to bring solutions. So we're there to bring solutions to the architectural community and the contractors too, because oftentimes they'll get into a bind, and brick may seem basic, but there are a lot of things that can be done wrong that can jeopardize the quality of your finished project. And we're there to help everybody avoid those problems. We're there to help everybody stay in budget. I think of our salespeople as consultants. Okay, so we have one of the cool things I like about this industry, having been a rep for a long time and now managing, we have a very finite customer base. So they're not creating new architecture firms every day. They're not creating general contractors every day. There's huge barriers to entry to both of those things. You can't just wake up one day and say, "I'm going to go be an architect this afternoon." We establish relationships with those people, and the way I kind of coach new reps to do that is really just a basic 4-step process. And I can tell you a little bit about how I look for the right people, but the 4-step process is, they have to plan. Okay, you have to plan, because it's very easy when you're an outside sales rep to get handed a stack of brochures and think, "Okay, I'm just going to go drop brochures off all day." That's not what we do at all. There are people who try to do that, but they're generally not going to be successful. So you got to plan. You have to show up in person. That's a big deal with a finite customer base where we are locked in. We manage via a geographic territory. So, for example, my territory goes all the way to the Louisiana border. It goes out past College Station, Galveston. It's all of Houston, and so big circle there. But you can show up in person in that territory. Yeah. And I emphasize that, and especially now with younger reps, they're used to online interactions. They're used to social media interactions. They're used to texting. They're used to phone calls, and that's all great. You have to do all that. But when you show up in person, that's important. When you get there, you have to listen. So training people with really active personalities who want to be, people who want to be the life of the party all the time, you really have to train them to slow down, listen to what your customer needs. You don't know what they need till they tell you. And there are ways to coax that out of them, but you've got to listen. And then the very last, the last most important step is you have to bring solutions. So you have to be able to digest what they tell you, know our product line inside and out, and bring a solution that makes their life easier. I'm a big fan of Zig Ziglar. I watch his old tapes and listen to his stuff, and his famous saying, you can get everything in life you want if you'll just help enough people get what they want. And so that's sort of our core philosophy with the architects, because if we come in and we bring them a solution that they hadn't thought of, that establishes, that can establish a lifelong relationship with these people. I've got people I started calling on in 2003 that I'm still friends with today. They still call me if they get in a bind on some aspect of building material, and that's what we want. We coach that we want long-term reps. We want people to go that extra mile to develop that. So I think that's a long way of answering, a basic thing. Plan, show up in person, listen, and bring a solution.